Hi guys, my name is Alex Garnier. I'm a 3D character animator, storyteller as well. And today I want to talk to you about how I became an animator and working now into feature animation and how I started my animation journey in the TV show. First, I studied animation movie when I was in Paris. I was at a school in Paris where basically you study pretty much everything in the animation movie industry. I studied 3D software like Maya. I learned Photoshop. I learned pretty much everything, and I learned to animate. I learned to model characters, to rig characters, to do lighting, to do a bit of FX as well. But my goal was to animate characters. So after that, I started in an animation movie studio in the south of France, Dwarf Animation. There I did the academy, then I started to work as a character animator on the TV show. And from there, I jumped into an animation studio in Montreal. And I had the opportunity after to work with people from Disney, from Pixar, from Dreamworks, and I was very lucky because when you learn from those guys, you pick up so much on your journey to be an animator. And becoming an animator, it's about all the animation rules created by the 9 elements. So you have 12 principles of animation. You have the timing, you have the pacing, you have to do a strong blocking so we can understand the animation. And sometimes you can think that, and personally I was the same, like when you do your blocking, you think like, oh, the blocking has to be perfect, like we need to understand perfectly what's happening. And the thing is that when you show your first blocking, it's more selling the idea on itself than doing a perfect animation. Why? Because, for example, when you're in feature, you have to sell the idea and you have to shoot reference. When I was animating on feature, and when I'm animating on feature, like I currently do, you have to basically sell your idea, the story of the shot, and how you envision it. In order to do that, you will shoot reference. You will shoot like either if it's an acting shot, so with dialogue, with one character or maybe multiple characters in the shot, and you have to animate the dialogue, you have to animate how the character react with his environment, and you have to animate all the things like this. Or if it's a body mechanic shot and you don't approach it the same way. A body mechanic shot, it's all about physics and mechanic, as the word say. So it has to be, actually depends on the style, but it has to be spot on with the mechanic. A body mechanic shot, when you do your blocking, you need to really show the character how he's gonna react with his environment and to sell the idea. But after, it's not exactly the same work when you have an acting shot and a body mechanic. The acting, there is still body mechanic, but usually the acting, especially in feature, it's more you work what we call within the posing, is that you do one posing, for example, oh, hello, and you do one line of action, beautiful line of action, and you work inside that pose to create all the acting, and you work with the beats and everything like this. So personally, I started working in TV show, and when you work on TV show, you don't have the time that you have in feature, you don't have the same rig, the character are not the same. What I mean not the same is that the definition, the rig, go way further into feature than it goes into TV show, and that's perfectly normal. And I started working in TV shows, so I started by 16 seconds a day. Even one day I remember I went up to 30 something, but 30 something pretty much is like you take everything from the library and you plug it in your character, and that's pretty much it. But when you have to work at 8 seconds a day, you have to go pretty fast. You don't have a lot of time to to sell an idea, you have to go straight to the point, and that's very challenging when you start because you're not used to it. So when you start 8 seconds a day, it's kind of you're creating your own workflow to go really fast and to be efficient. Going into issue is to be efficient. So you create a workflow in order to that, and after you have to TV show is a way to get experience. Okay, get experience in animation, get experience doing the animation, being efficient, being fast. That's the goal with TV show. When you have the possibility to jump into a feature, it's a totally different work. It's a totally different job. Feature and TV show, totally separate things. Because when you start working in feature, everything needs details. You have to sell your ideas. You have more time to work on a shot, okay? Because when you work in TV show, you have pretty much like 30 shots a month or 25 or something, so it's a lot of shots, and usually you have a lot of character in the shot as well. So pretty much it's plug and drop from like the studio library and stuff like this. When you work in feature, you have maybe 5 shots for maybe 2-3 months or something like this, or it really depends, but usually what it means is that one shot minimum 1 week, and extremely minimum 1 week. Why? Because when you do your shot, you have to sell your ideas, so you have to do your reference, you have to upload a reference in the shot. From that, you have to create your blocking. With the blocking, you sell the idea. You sell the idea first with the reference that you get. And if you work in TV show, like in TV show, same thing. If you can shoot your own reference and everything, it's perfect because you can go faster. After, it doesn't mean copy paste the reference exactly. I'll do a video about specifically about how I use reference and everything like this. But yeah, and when you work into feature, when you work on your shots, so you do the reference, then you do the blocking based on the reference, and then you show it to your supervisor, director, and you show it to sell your idea. So you caveat everything you want or anything, and you sell the idea with the reference, with what you want to go, where you want to go with the shot in terms of storytelling, and that's the way you sell it. And after, you will be creating the golden key pose, because there is 2 ways of animating. Either you do what we call the animation layer. Animation layer is that you don't work in post to post, so in blocking mode, in steps. You work with the energy of the character, with the energy of the shot. That's the animation layer. Michael McCarriage, that's what he explained. He's an animation layer guy, and basically everything that he work with is in terms of energy. It doesn't for him, post to post doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. Post to post is literally the Disney animation style. Disney work in post to post. So like the golden key pose, everything like this that Glenn Keane perfected with the years, and yeah, that's the way they work. It's like post to post. So you do your golden key pose, you sell the animation with the golden key pose. If you want to do what we call a blocking plus, you add in between with your golden key pose, you add the in between, and that way you can sell better animation because you have, for example, the pelvis go up, go down. You have your in between that's kind of like start to smooth your animation to show it more fluidity in the animation. So that's the way you want to work. And so yeah, so my journey into the animation, basically I jumped from like TV show to feature. My first feature film was Under the Boardwalk. The director of the movie was directing Turbo at Dreamworks before, and it was my first feature, and I was almost nervous on my first feature because it was my first experience in a feature film. I had a lot of experience of TV show, but feature is very different. And also you have to pick up quickly on like the style. You have to pick up quickly on like how much you understand the character, how much you understand every part of the story that you work with. Because as my colleague say, as an animator, as a character animator, you work on a letter, from a word, from a sentence, from the chapter, from the book. So basically, like, trust the story, trust your shot, trust the shots around you, because animation movie is working as a team. And it's not just about your shot, it's also shots around. So it's a lot of like communication as well. It's like how you work with your colleagues, other people on the shot that you have around, how you make sure that the hookups, like when you have one shot after, and you check that the connection works, how the hookup works, you check everything like this. So it's a lot of like teamwork. If you're not sure about what tool you use to do one thing, ask anybody, they will have an answer probably. So it's animation movie is a lot of work like this. So yeah, and my first feature film ended Boardwalk was super challenging because there was a lot of character, and I didn't have that many shots, but I remember I had like one shot dialogue, super short. And after I had one shot where you have the main character is carrying the girl on the beach, and you have all the weight, it was body mechanic shot basically. You have all the body mechanic there, and it was animating crabs. I didn't animate crabs before, and you have to do it for a feature, so you have to figure out how crabs walk. And then I remember it's like one time they gave me this shot because I was waiting for another shot to start mine, and so in between that they gave me another one, and the shot was the battle and the ball when they come together and they like literally fight, and I had to animate this. And when they showed me the shot, they were like, oh yes, we can split the shot between animators. And I was like, how many characters on this thing? Because when you see you have all the crabs and you have one person into the sand, and literally there was no choreography, nothing, because you also have to check the animatics, so the 2D animation of what you have to do. And when I watched the animating, there were a couple of like poses, but that was nothing pretty much to go with. And so after, you have to work with your supervisor, your lead and everything, and pretty much it was like, Alex, figure it out. And I was like, perfect, I have to figure out how crab's gonna do a battle. And it took me probably like 1 week and a half or 2 weeks to figure out how to do the choreography literally. And from that, we show up a blocking. It was what we call a rough blocking, but still enough to present the ideas, to present the choreography and everything you want. And from there, it was going into animation, and it was animating a body mechanic shot of like crabs going and fighting all the way. And it was super challenging, but super interesting to do. And when you have a first feature to do and you have a shot like this, you're like, holy crap. Like I literally have to create battlefield with crabs. Okay, good. And that was super challenging, but I learned a lot. I really learned a lot from that first feature. I learned what was the expectation with features. I learned how was the workflow as well with a feature, how you process the workflow, because it's so different from TV show. When you work in TV show, the blocking, you barely have one, because we need to go fast on TV show. So the blocking on TV show, pretty much, if you can sell the first idea and they approve it, and you can sell it in slide, perfect. Seriously, perfect, amazing, you can go with it. I remember it was when I was in the south of France, my first animation studio. We had an animator coming from Illumination MacGuff, and he was the supervisor from one show. And basically, we had an hour of inspiration with him, and he go over how he animated the shot. It was basically a simple shot. It was like 3 characters, especially one talking, and that was an acting shot. So you have just, it was on the Monchichi TV show, and you have just like one character, one of the main characters from Monchichi animating, and basically you have like, he's like doing just a movement with his hand or everything, but pretty much he's in the face acting and also the body, but it doesn't move that much. So we call it like act within the pose. And it took one day to do the animation, but what he told us is like the workflow that he was using from feature film. So to go from like references, to shoot your reference, to do a blocking, to have the blocking approved for the ideas, then to go more into refining your animation, going into spline, then polish, which is blocking, spline, and polish. And he say 8 seconds a day or 6. It's super challenging because he explained how he did the blocking, or he was trying to find a simple pose and to act within the pose or anything like this. And he'd say I should have done spline directly, because blocking, it's, you go to spline directly because you can lose time doing blocking in TV show unless you have the entire workflow created to do a blocking, a spline, and a polish. When I work on the Robozuna at L'Atelier, or another show after it was at Bardell Animation, you have the blocking, you have the spline, you have the polish, but it's 1 week for the blocking. So you have all your shots, you have 1 week for the blocking, so you kind of go fast on that. You have a week and a half for the spline, and you have a week for the polish. So that's pretty much what it works on TV show. After, maybe it changed over the years, but pretty much that's the workflow I know from the TV show. And yeah, and from that, literally after is like, yeah, so he created the blocking, he did the blocking and everything, and he told us, yeah, it was super challenging because having the spline and everything done in 1 day plus dialogue, it wasn't used to at all. So basically, he showed us the blocking, and when you think about it, showing a good blocking in 1 day in feature, it's good. Like it's really good speed, seriously. And he explained to us, yeah, I should have directly go to the spline and everything like this. And yeah, because the more you can go to spline in TV show, go for it. After in TV show, usually you don't have to spend too many time on the dialogue, so you have to make the dialogue work. So for that, usually it tapes, but I will do another video for the dialogue. It's like when you do your dialogue, so for example, hey, we have to save him. Like put your hand under the jaw and see how much you open your mouth. And for MVP, you close the mouth literally. And yeah, that's the way it works. And so yeah, so the workflow between TV show and feature is super different, super different. And so yeah, I did probably 8 to 9 TV show. Probably 6 to 7 before jumping into feature. So I have all this experience from the TV show. And I did, my first movie was Under the Boardwalk. And it was super challenging to animate all the crabs and everything. And after, they asked me, oh, Alex, do you want to jump on Nimona? So I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know exactly what was Nimona at the time. And when they showed me Nimona, I was like, wow, that's so freaking cool. And they showed me Nimona, and I was like, wow, that's great. The good thing is that I had almost everything I did was like body mechanic from Under the Boardwalk. I had to do more body mechanic in Nimona. So especially one shot, if you guys watch Nimona or anything, there is the shot where you have the main words, golden lion. If I remember them correctly, I can be bad with them sometimes. And they are is coming with all the guards are running, and you have golden lion basically is like, clear the line, clear the path, put people away and everything. And suddenly they hear a noise, and golden lion is like, what's going on, what's happening? And I had to animate that shot, plus the one after where golden lion is like, is looking at really the monster Nimona coming, and it's like, what the hell? And you have all the other guards looking at this exactly the same way. Plus I had to animate the dragon where you have Nimona as a dragon flying through the weapon to destroy the bad girl basically. And yeah, so to animate that shot where all the girls are running and everything, it was challenging as well. Why? Because the thing is that from what I got from the animatic, and the animatic was pretty much a simple, like almost a ceremony coming, like all the girls like being walking like this, and we did that in the first place. But the thing is that when the directors saw it, they were like, no, we need more energy, we need to engage with the audience, we need more running and everything. It's like a fight almost. And I was like, I just finished a fight from Under the Boardwalk, so I have to do another fight. My wheelhouse will be fighting people in animation movie. But yeah, so basically what happened is that we had to do another choreography of all the guards coming and running all around, and Golden Lion basically telling the guys where to go, what to do. So it was a body mechanic shot on Golden Lion, like walking but supervising guards and everything, plus dialogue. So I had both. And plus I had probably, if I try to remember correctly, I had probably 9 guards running, plus 2 horses and 2 guards on the horses. So I had around approximately 13 to 14 characters in the shot to animate. Took me approximately 2.5 months, just one shot, but 13 character, one shot, it's something like this. And yeah, it was crazy because I had to figure out the choreography, my lead had to approve it, then the soup had to approve it, and the director had to approve it. So it was that kind of work. And for me, Nimona, Under the Boardwalk was super challenging. Nimona was a step, another level as well, because I had not that much dialogue. It was mostly the dialogue with Golden Lion supervising the guards. I had also the shot where you have the main character with his black hair. I can't remember now. I'm very bad with names, but he has his arm cut by Golden Lion at the beginning of the movie, and he falls down, and basically is like on the ground, and he tried to stand up holding his arm, so you can see the character in pain, like, I'm not gonna make it, so like holding his arm. And basically I had to create that animation when he holds his arm like this. So pretty much a lot of things that I had to do on Nimona was body mechanic and one dialogue. And when you have a dialogue in feature, you check everything, but we check everything for the phonemes and everything to be worked properly, especially with the accent, because when you work in feature, usually they want the American accent, so you have to double check that as well. And yeah, and it was super challenging, and so I created the choreography and everything. I had guards running toward crossing each other or anything like this, and Golden Lion in the middle, and tourists coming from a run, and what to stop immediately. So it was crazy challenging, and when I finished and they approved the shot, it feels so good to have a shot where they approved and everything, and you're like, I made it, I did that shot. So yeah, from Nimona from Under the Boardwalk, Nimona, right now another feature. It's like it's an old experience, literally. And the thing is that when you're in school is school, but the thing is, when you work in a studio, it's so different. When you're in school, you don't really have, well, I guess the deadline is like the exercise for the course, or to finish your show for the end of the year or anything. And that's extremely challenging as well, because you have to create your own character, you have to animate it and everything. But when you work in the production, when you go there, especially feature, you have also it's like a communication, an intense communication between every department to be sure that everything landed at the right timing or anything like this. and you have to communicate the best way possible to be sure that your shot is always up to date with what you have to do. Can be the animating or whatever. So you have to talk with your coordinator, you have to talk with pretty much your lead, your subs, everybody. And yeah, so it's the animation journey is pretty much you have to focus on creating a workflow that works for you, okay? Because sure, you can be helped by seasoned professional, by people who have experience, seniors animation like me or anything, but even if we show you a workflow that works, you will always put your style on the workflow and create your own workflow. The thing is that the best is that to have a workflow where you feel confident with it, where you feel you can approach any shot and you're going to feel at ease in terms of workflow. You know what you do in terms of workflow. Every shot has its own complexity. In future, we have grade for every shot. Same thing, TV show, you have grade for every shot. I just, in my opinion, and in my experience, the grade that I put in feature is way more accurate than what I see in TV show, way more. Because sometimes I see grade in TV show, but the grade is literally the difficulty of the shot. So the more body mechanic it will be, the more connection you have from one character to another. If there is a props, so if you have to animate a satchel, if you have to animate a chair, whatever, it counts as an animation, and we count as well the frame count for every character. What I mean is that if you work in TV show and you have, I don't know, you have let's say 6 characters in the shot, okay? You have 6 characters in the shot, and the shot is probably 65 frames, okay? You don't have 65 frames to animate. Because they can tell you, oh yeah, just 65 frames. No, it's 65 multiple by the number of characters. So if you have 6 characters in 65 frames, you have almost more than 360 frames to animate. That's what it means. So imagine that you have multiple shots with multiple characters in, and you have from 50 to 200 frames. That's going to require a lot of time. So the goal when you have this, and it will happen, guys, it will happen when you have this, picture in your mind, and that's a very important thing, picture in your mind and visualize what you want to do in terms of animation. Visualize where your animation need to go, and visualize how you can set up everything like this. My way to work on this is like, when I have multiple characters in one shot, what I do usually is like I do a basic blocking for every character, and I call it working in circle. What I mean is that you do one character, you do a basic rough blocking just to understand the idea of the animation. The animation doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect in terms of poses, like beautiful line of action or anything. No, it has to be understandable. And from that, you do the other character. So you don't spend too much time on one character. The goal is to spend the time on one character to understand the idea, the other one character. If there is the interaction, start to plug it a little bit of the interaction just to understand where it's going. And you do that from one to another, to another, to another, until all your characters have basic stage of blocking, rough blocking plus the connection, so you can start to picture. And usually when you have that, you work into animation layer, which means you don't do pose to pose in terms of blocking. You let, if you work on Maya or Blender, you let the animation do the in-between for you, so you can visualize what's happening in the animation. Personally, that's my way to work in feature or TV show, and seriously it works great because it allows you to be efficient, it allows you to be fast, and it allows you to sell the idea as soon as you can, because it's Brad Bird who say, show often and show as soon as possible. And that's true. That's work in feature or in TV show. The sooner you can show what you have, don't mind if it's pretty or anything. At the beginning, no one cares if it's pretty. Everybody cares about one thing. What's the idea? What's the story you want to sell? So sell the story first, and once the story sells, you can do pretty much, you can start doing more reference, you can start doing blocking, foundation blocking, then blocking plus. I will do another video on the blocking plus, because blocking plus is basically adding a layer of in between to your blocking for a nice blocking and everything. I'll do also another video showing you guys my kind of workflow to animate fast, consistent, and being efficient with your animation depending on TV show or feature. But yeah, what I mean is that the journey of a character animator, and also is like you will feel like a bump in your level, is that when you start, you have a level when you start in the production, and the more you will get the knowledge from experienced people, the more you will learn the tips and tricks that are super useful. And sometimes the 3% tips that you can learn make the whole difference. And with all those tips, you're gonna get a bump, and then it's gonna be adding a layer and plus layer and plus layer, basically to becoming a more better animator every time. That's literally the goal. And what I mean by that is that the journey is not going to be a perfect linear line. It doesn't work that way. It's just that, and sometimes you can also face blocking as a creative person. Sometimes you can face like suddenly you don't know what's going on and you can't animate anymore. It happens. It happened to me on TV show, and yeah, sometimes it happens. It happens, guys. No worry, it will happen. And if it happens, talk to people. Talk to people about the animation. Talk to people about why you don't know how to do it anymore, or what's in your mind, or how you visualize the animation. Because animation is a teamwork, and I want to emphasize on this. Everybody wants everyone to be better. That's the way we work in feature. That's the way we work in TV show, especially in feature. In feature, you'll see sometimes if you have the chance to work with Pixar animator or Disney or Dreamworks, you'll see that everybody is here to help everybody. So the one who has the more knowledge will help the other one who has less knowledge. The goal is to grow as an animator, grow as an artist, grow in terms of creativity, and yeah, and so that's what I mean. I'm gonna create I'm gonna do review also for those animator of you who want to get a review by a guy working feature or anything. And yeah, it's like how we check the body mechanic, how we check the dialogue, how we check everything like this. And yeah, it's animation is a passion. Seriously, for me it's a passion. And yeah, it's enjoying every day as you create life, you bring life. And yeah, it's like embodying the character, understanding the environment, the story, and everything. It's a process. Everything in the animation journey is a process, guys. So yeah, I hope you like it, and see you in the next video. Ciao.